Vice Mayor, do you have any comments this evening?
My only comment is along the same lines of Commissioner Reed's comment with the Hamiltons, is I would just love to see that be resolved as soon as humanly possible. I feel like it's a black eye. It doesn't look good.
The City of Stuart Housing Rehabilitation Program. Oh, strike that. The Housing Destruction Program, on the Hamiltons file. This program includes but not limited to falsely notarized notice of commencement, fake roof ridge vent system, extortion of the federal funds with a threat of liens for destructive and incomplete work, the homeowner's forged signature, deliberate negligence and indifference, the concealed letter from the State Historic Preservation Office, the fraudulent lien, the City of Stuart Pinocchio's salaries, and the taxpayers pay for this.
We've had the CDBG money that went to 11 homes to do some improvements, I think up to $80,000. The people who are administering the CDBG grant, they've come up from Homestead, the workmanship, and it's so bad.
Under the contracts between the city and Guardian Community Resource Management, Mr. Jenkins's professional highlights and duties are to help the city with the construction oversight, construction bidding, contractor vetting. He prepares documents. He conducts orientation sessions for contractors, meets with the building department, performs site inspections for compliance, approves construction and contractor pay authorizations. Guardian Community Resource Management and the contractors are paid from the federal funds. On the Hamiltons Rehabilitation Project, under Mr. Jenkins' supervision and the City of Stuart's oversight, Patriot Response Group deliberately filed a falsely notarized notice of commencement with the Martin County Clerk of Court. The fraudulent document was uttered by James Foster, Patriot Response Group Executive Vice President. The notice doesn't even mention the CDBG program, and neither includes the full scope of work. The same notice, along with the fraudulent floor plan the contractor filed with the city's building department. The contractor also concealed the CDBG scope of work on the permits. On the company's website, Mr. Jenkins of Guardian CRM Inc. is mentioned as a director of construction, well-versed and certified in the latest building standards and codes. His interpretation of the building code is, in general, contractors do not need permission to cut into home when windows or doors are being retrofit. When the Hamiltons asked Mr. Jenkins if Patriot Response Group had plans and permission from the building department to do structural alterations Mr. Jenkins responded, yes, that was false. The Hamiltons inspected the permit file. No such plans were submitted. The Hamiltons notified Mr. Jenkins that the contractor did not install the roof ridge vent system. The contractor sealed the roof ridge vent and faked the installation of the vent system by placing a strip of mesh. Instead of looking into this matter, Mr. Jenkins demanded the release of the federal funds for the incomplete roof, mentioning the potential liens. The Hamiltons notified the City of Stuart Manager, Mr. Mortell, and the building department about the violations by the CDBG contractor.
This is just one case with the contractors.
But I know that some of the members who received this help have called me and said that a lot of unprofessional stuff went on around those homes. The people who've had problems because the work is so bad.
Ms. Gandhi-Savdas, CRA Director and the CDBG Project Manager for the city, with the authority to act on the city's behalf with respect to all aspects of the project. Since December 1, 2023, she has had the State Historic Preservation Office letter with the guidelines on the rehabilitation of the Hamiltons Historical Building, which appears to meet the criteria for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. Even after the Hamiltons notified Ms. Gandhi-Savdas and Guardian CRM on July 19, 2024, about the damages inflicted on the building by the contractor, neither Ms. Gandhi-Savdas nor Mr. Jenkins disclosed the December 2023 letter. In November 2024, the State Historic Preservation Office provided the Hamiltons with the 2023 letter after the homeowners filed their complaint with FloridaCommerce. On September 3, 2024, Ms. Gandhi-Savdas wrote to the Hamiltons, "The CDBG program policy does not allow a rehab project budget to exceed $80,000. The payment due to Patriot is $48,490. Your project has $31,510. That can be utilized to finalize the new window installation and finish. In order to ensure homeowner protection against mechanical liens, it is recommended that the contractor be paid." The project management's brilliant idea was to sweep everything under the city's rug by extorting the release of federal funds from the Hamiltons for incomplete and fraudulent work by Patriot, and make the Hamiltons to use the rest of the funds to pay for the correct size replacement windows. With all the damages done by Patriot, it would not be enough. The Hamiltons filed their complaint with FloridaCommerce. On October 18, 2024, FloridaCommerce notified the city, It appears that work completed on the home located at 311 Southwest 3rd Street does not appear to be compliant with the site-specific environmental review conditions that were issued for the project, and costs incurred to date may not be eligible for reimbursement with federal funds. Before, the State Historic Preservation Office stated that the completed work does not conform to the Secretary of the Interior's standards for the treatment of historic properties and does not meet the conditions set by the office in the December 2023 letter. The contractor filed a fraudulent lien on November 4, 2024. FloridaCommerce directed the city to remove the lien from the Hamiltons' property, paying the contractor from the city's funds. Mr. Mortell signed the check request from the CDBG Fund number 105.
And the state was directing us to pay, and we said we can't because your policies tell us we can't pay without the Hamilton signature. The state said in this circumstance, because of the lien and because of the circumstances, we're directing you to pay, and they authorized us to pay it without their signature.
The city is not being asked to expend additional funds.
No.
Is that correct?
Correct.
On November 26, 2024, FloridaCommerce stated in the email, FloridaCommerce does not consider the payment that was made to Patriot Response Group to be an eligible use of CDBG funds at this time. Ms. Gandhi-Savdas knew Patriot didn't install the roof ridge vent system. Anyway, she signed the release of the full amount on the roof. On October 7, 2024, she wrote, "That permit has been closed and will remain closed. A new permit will be pulled for the vent system as mentioned above. The taxpayers paying twice." The document Ms. Gandhi-Savdas signed also includes the change order for $2,500 with the homeowner's forged signature and $22,650 for the replacement windows, stating 85% complete, despite the fact that the oversized replacement windows were installed in violation of the State Historic Preservation Office guidelines, the Florida Building Code, existing buildings, and the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation. The document with Ms. Gandhi-Savdas' signature falsely states the contract voluntarily dissolved. On July 26, 2024, the contractor took the trailer from the Hamiltons' property. Ms. Cobb, Guardian CRM Administrator, after her meeting with Ms. Gandhi-Savdas, notified the Hamiltons' Patriot Response Group was removed from their project. The same day, Mrs. Hamilton sent an email to Mr. Jenkins. "No one from their company or their proxies are allowed on our property anymore. We feel intimidated and unsafe." On June 20, 2024, we already expressed our concern and mentioned through the phone messages that we are very scared of these people. As the CDBG project manager for the city, Ms. Gandhi-Savdas knew the contractor was removed from the Hamiltons project.
We have removed the contractor from the project.
Anyway, she signed the documents releasing CDBG funds to Patriot Response Group. Patriot Response Group filed the lien without providing the Hamiltons with the contractor's final affidavit, and neither the city provided the contractor's final payment affidavit to the Hamiltons before paying off the lien from CDBG funds. After FloridaCommerce notified the Hamiltons that the payment made by the city to Patriot Response Group was not an eligible use of CDBG funds, the Hamiltons had more questions about the payment and the documents with the false dates and information. On December 12, 2024, City Manager Mr. Mortell wrote to the Hamiltons, "I am asking the staff to refrain from responding to each of your emails and telling the Hamiltons, the CDBG program participants, to request information and documents on their federally funded project through the city clerk." Since December 1, 2023, the city has known about the conditions on the Hamiltons' historical building rehabilitation, stated in the State Historic Preservation Office letter, concealed by the city administration from the Hamiltons.
As of right now, it has been determined that the windows do not meet the historic guidelines and that they are going to need to be replaced, and the CDBG grant has said that they will ultimately let them hire a different contractor to replace them. We will be getting the funding for the new windows from whoever they have it from FloridaCommerce.
Even after the State Historic Preservation Office November 2024 letter, stating that the replacement windows do not meet the conditions set forth by the office in the 2023 letter, Mr. Mortell continued to insist there was nothing wrong with the replacement windows. On December 19, 2024, Mr. Mortell wrote to the Hamiltons, "If you recall, during the conference, the State Historic Preservation Office mentioned that a solution could be to install a plaque and allow the windows to remain." Mrs. Hamilton contacted the State Historic Preservation Office, and the office wrote back, "In reference to Mr. Mortell's comments, Ms. Chase and I agree that was not a solution offered by this office. It was agreed that the windows would be replaced."
FloridaCommerce is going to either authorize paying the additional money or they're not.
I actually had a Teams meeting with FloridaCommerce on Thursday, and they said at this time that they weren't going to pay anything when I had a Teams meeting with them, that it was strictly on the City of Stuart.